But Hollywood couldn't critique any of this because they needed the police's help to hide their various misdeeds and force permits and work as security on set.
Do you guys remember in the 1940s, there was a very popular film genre?
Right.
Maybe one of the most popular, influential film genres to come out, ever. Someone who like had to sit through film history classes and shit. I'm just like, this is the most wildly dishonest retelling of film history.
Now, before long, the movie industry would become reliant on assistance from the LAPD, so what a twist here. And why, you might ask? Well, because their stars would continuously do illegal shit and they required help covering it up.
Okay, this is very important. Stars would do illegal shit and they needed help covering it up, okay?
Mm-hmm. I saw LA Confidential.
Yeah. This is, I think this is the part, this is like the wildest, most factually inaccurate claim in the video.
Well, because their stars would continuously do illegal shit and they required help covering it up. So yeah, they essentially needed protection for their stars that were homosexual because, again, at one point in time that was illegal. I bet you were thinking I was going to say they were all doing mountains of cocaine. Nope, not really. They were just being who they were, but society hadn't caught up with that yet.
Well, they were doing mountains of cocaine too, let's be honest.
So Pyramid Scheme here honestly thinks that Hollywood in the early 1900s teamed up with the police officers to protect their actors from being arrested for being gay.
Right.
And that was the main charge here.
Right.
Okay. That's what Pyramid Scheme thinks.
There's a little quid pro quo going on. We make you look good in movies and you don't arrest our gay actors.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So where does this claim come from? Well, it's kind of funny because
it's a batshit crazy claim.
It is a batshit crazy claim. So it's kind of funny because she was complaining about people stealing from her. So much of this entire video is just directly ripped off from this Washington Post article.
Right.
Which she doesn't really, she has a picture of it, but she didn't really cite it and say, like, I just stole this article. So, and the person that wrote this article just did a bunch of bullshit lies and half-truths.
Right.
But whoever wrote the script did an even greater, for Illuminaughtii, did an even greater lie. Because here's what the paragraph from the article says. It says, meanwhile, as Hollywood grew larger, cooperation with police and other law enforcement agencies became more important for reasons beyond censorship. Hollywood needed the cooperation of the LA Police Department to preserve its star's reputation. The rape and manslaughter trials of silent film star Roddy Fatty Arbuckle in the early 1920s and the federal tax investigation of actors, including Tom Mix, tarnished the industry. Later, the LAPD historian Joe Dominic wrote, cooperation with the movie business and police ensured discretion for, quote, carousing wild men like Aaron Flynn and homosexual stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she took that paragraph that starts with talking about how Fatty Arbuckle...
yeah. He wasn't gay. He wasn't even gay.
No, he was accused of fucking raping and killing a lady.
Right, yeah.
And this was... If you don't know about this...
Much worse than being gay.
Yes, much worse. If you don't know about this, like, this is something that gets talked about in any film history classes, like, so influential.
Old Fatty Arbuckle?
Yes. Well, no, this trial, getting the Hays Code in passed originally, because this was like OJ times 1,000. Okay?
Right.
You had one of the most famous celebrities was accused of raping and accidentally killing a woman, and it went to trial 3 times because the jury could never agree. It kept getting a hung jury. So this went on for like years. It was this massive fucking deal. But you can see how utterly dishonest whoever wrote, Pyramid Scheme's script is. Because in the paragraph that she lifted this from, she removed Fatty Arbuckle killing someone, right? She removed tax investigating of Tom Mix. She removed carousing wild men like Errol Flynn, who was not gay. Errol Flynn, by the way, he's a very famous actor back in the day, very famously known for being a blatant womanizer, a drug addict, and a drunk, and would often be picked up on the streets of Hollywood, totally intoxicated.
Wow.
She cut all that out and took a single 2 words, homosexual stars, and said that was the reason.
I got a picture of Fatty Arbuckle up.
Not a good-looking guy. Okay.
Are you sure? I mean, he lives up to the name Fatty.
That's true. Okay, so super horrible dishonesty from Pyramid Scheme here to pretend like, oh, all the Hollywood stars back in the day were just innocent angels, and they were just being arrested for being the gays.
Right. Yeah.
But
there
then
was not much innocence going on.
No. But then I took it a step further.
Okay.
I went and I found Joe Dominic's book. And I tried to see the source that the Washington Post person. The Washington Post person cut out even more stuff. Okay. This is from the original book the guy wrote. It says, the industry, Hollywood, also needs to protect its stars and other key players from career-destroying scandals in an era dominated by Calvinistic morality. Carousing wild men like Errol Flynn and homosexual stars were constantly being picked up by the LAPD, but never booked. Howard Hughes and Busby Berkeley were rumored to have been involved in auto accidents that resulted in deaths, but managed to never go to jail. Looking the other way when Hollywood stars were involved went back to the days of the murder of William Desmond.
Well, shit. Holy cow.
And through the mysterious circumstances under which women in their prime, such as Jean Harlow and Lupe Velez, died. Calls would be made and charges either not filed by the police or were dropped by the DA.
So it had nothing to do with homosexuality or homosexual acts. It was actually like getting in a car wreck and killing like a family of 4.
Yes. But no, Pyramid Head leaves this all out. It was just to protect the gays. That was all it was.
Ouch. But you know you're going to start protecting the reputation of the police that let you off after, drunk driving, killing a family of 4. You're going to be like...
Apparently, they needed to play nice with the LAPD, who are pretty famous for their corruption, so much so that LA is actually now investigating the 50-year police gangs. And apparently, LAPD has 18 police gangs, which is bananas. But Hollywood couldn't critique any of this because they needed the police's help to hide their various misdeeds and force permits and work as security on set. One day, an actor named Jack Webb decided he had the solution to the problem and a way to make both Hollywood and the police happy. And what was that solution, you might ask? Well, it was to involve the LAPD in the production of a movie. Because, what could go wrong with letting the police completely control the narrative about themselves? There's no way that could have any unforeseen circumstances on society, right? But Hollywood needed the approval of law enforcement and...
Unforeseen circumstances? Okay. It's usually consequences, but...
Right.
Law enforcement needed Hollywood to stop portraying them as hopeless buffoons. So Webb and the LAPD chief William Parker entered into a partnership to create the movie Dragnet, which was, quote, an authentic look at police work.
Okay. So Dragnet came out, I think the original Dragnet radio show, because it was a radio show before it was a TV show or a movie or whatever, it was in like 1948, 1949. So if you've been paying attention, she's jumped from 1915 to 1948.
She skipped over Prohibition. It was 1915 to like 1933 or something.
Yes. So she's skipping a lot of time in Hollywood history where cops were not looked upon fondly, including the films that were making fun of Prohibition and things of that nature.
Of course.
But let's see. Do you guys remember in the 1940s there was a very popular film genre?
Right.
Maybe one of the most popular, influential film genres to come out, ever.
The 1940s?
In the 1940s, after World War, especially after World War II, very popular film genre. Yes,
right.
It still influences movies today.
Really? What's it about?
Give you a hint.
Nazis?
It starts with the letter N, but it's not Nazis.
Oh, it's not Nazis?
No.
Noir?
Oh, film noir! Oh my God!
Did I get it?
You got it right, Adam. I'm so proud of you. Film noir, right?
This is like the dirty city with all the corruption and people on the take.
Yes, film noir, one of the most popular film genres at the time period, still influential to today. Every Batman movie is still essentially a film noir movie, right?
Especially the most recent one.
Especially the most recent one. Let me ask you a question, Adam, as a film person. How are the police generally portrayed in film noir movies?
They're all dirty cops. They're all dirty cops on the take, trying to take down Jack Nichols. It's Chinatown. It's just Chinatown. Let it go, Jack.
This is why this video is so insanely dishonest. The most popular genre of detective films in the time period that she's talking about was vehemently anti-cop. It's like a staple of film noir is that the cops are either corrupt or incompetent, and there has to be some PI, some private investigator to go and solve the crime because the cops are all evil.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
You're trying to get me to take the fall, copper, but I'm innocent and you know it.
Did you watch the end of that Jacob Geller video? Because he makes the same point.
What's the Jacob Geller video?
I don't know. I linked it in Discord a while back.
Oh.
Never watched it.
Wow.
Yeah.
He makes the same point. He makes the same propaganda point.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the beginning of the video is honestly like the first 2/3 are honestly pretty good. He's going over like the history of the death penalty in the US and how,
that video, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How like most of the supposedly humane ways to kill people are actually like just straight up worse than a firing squad, like all of them.
That's
basically.
true. That is
but then like at the end he's like, oh, but death penalties have gone down in recent years because now the cops just kill them, and then he goes in like a fucking 15-minute rant about cops, and it's like it's
hilarious,
pretty fucking wild.
They never make it to the courtroom. There's no death penalty case because they're dead in the street.
There you go. I could. This is like, someone who like had to sit through film history classes and shit. I'm just like, this is the most wildly dishonest retelling of film history.
This is 7.5 minutes of total dishonesty.
Yes, like film has been wildly. There are pro cop movies and there are pro cop TV shows, obviously, but film has been wildly anti cop since its inception and had numerous wildly anti cop portrayals from the dawn of time, continuing forward at all spans, and to completely skip over film noir and its wildly anti-cop portrayal just so you can promote this bullshit narrative is the height of stupidity and dishonesty. And as I said, I looked into the guy that she was talking about, this Jack Webback. He literally explained that the reason he was creating Dragnet was because he was pro-cop and felt like all these noir movies were just giving cops a bad name. He was literally reacting to media and trying to criticize it. The time,
right,
the two famous, apparently the two most famous radio shows at the time that Dragnet would be competing against were both noir PI radio shows where the cops were all portrayed as incompetent or corrupt.
Right.
So good job with your complete dishonesty and lack of research pyramid scheme.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.